taking you through that. And he is definitely here to take you through all the news from the local and the international scene as we drive your business to the sports direction at this particular moment. And we start off from Joshua Cheptegei, who makes a shortlist for the World Athlete of the Year. Joshua Cheptegei will add another shot at winning the prestigious World Athlete of the Year by the IWF World Championship after voting, and that included the fans, which ended on November 6th. The Ugandan long-distance runner made it to the shortlist as announced by the World Athletics on Monday. Cheptegei, who has steadily turned into an athletics superstar, claimed gold and silver in the 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters at the Tokyo Olympics. He also ran a world-leading 8 minutes, 9 seconds and 55 microseconds over 2 miles at the Prefontaine Classic meet in Eugene, that is in Oregon. The 25-year-old competes for the prestigious award with last year's winner in Swedish pole vaulter Maud Duplatis, and as well as Kenyan marathoner Eliud Kipchoge, the man who has the world record of having the shortest time of running a marathon. That is Eliud Kipchoge, who has won the accolade twice. The Norwegian hurdler Karsten Warholm and American shot putter Ryan Crosser are the other athletes who complete the 6-man list, and we only have 2 Africans on that short list. So we hope this time round Joshua Cheptegei can actually win this. If you look at this, the winner will be announced at the World Athletics Awards 2021, which will be held virtually on December 1st. December 1st will also be the World AIDS Day, if I am to remind you as well. Now, this comes after Uganda's leading telecommunications company, MTN Uganda, has announced a 1-year sponsorship deal with reigning world record holder Joshua Cheptegei. He has a deal with MTN. As part of the sponsorship package, 100 million shillings will go towards the Joshua Cheptegei Foundation that is working to develop and provide a platform for young and rising athletes from the Sebei region. Remember, the Sebei region is where Joshua Cheptegei also rose from. This fund will cater for academic scholarships for the best performing athletes and community programs, especially in the entrepreneurship skills training. In addition, there will be a performance-based sponsorship package for Cheptegei if he wins if at all he wins Olympic gold and other medals at any other prestigious event. The deal also includes a performance incentive for any other world records that Cheptegei breaks. Now remember, he won an Olympic gold medal and also silver, so that means the deal is actually adding more onto the wealth that he actually gets. As you can definitely see there in the picture, it's Joshua Cheptegei with the CEO of MTN, Wim Vanellope, and so that means the 100 million is actually going on over there to support his foundation and also support people of the Sebei region as we are building a structure to help and boost our sport in Uganda. Okay, still with the local scene, let's talk basketball. The Uganda basketball national team, that is the Silverbacks, are out of first window as the fans have forced them out and they will not qualify or will not travel to Angola to compete in the forthcoming FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 African qualifiers. The National Council of Sports communicated to the Federation that there are no funds to send the team for the first phase of the qualifier set for November 26th to the 28th this weekend. Home-based players had started preparations at the Africa Bible College in Luboa for the 3-day tournament that will be played in the western city of Benguela. Silverbanks finished 6th at the recently concluded AfroBaskets a couple of months ago, but it was a tournament at which the team played against all odds, top of which was financial constraints. Since its setup, the national team committee has been struggling to raise the required funds for several tournaments, with government support coming in sometimes after the tournaments. Remember, the FIBA World Cup Africa, that was actually happening here in Kigali, in our neighbors here in Rwanda. Remember the cases where by the Silverbacks were not allowed to leave their hotel because they had not paid. They had debts in Rwanda for the hotel where they spent, and they had to wait for the first son, General Mohos Kainerugaba, to actually send them money that actually rescued them from the debts rather that they had with the hotel that they were staying in Kigali. Kale, let's move to the international scene. This time around, we take a trip down to South America. South America's Brazil top league. There was a time when the Brazil football got into a shocker when they had a breakaway football league. Surprisingly, the Brazil breakaway football league has secured up to $1 billion. That's quite a good amount, isn't it? Definitely. Top flight football clubs in Brazil and one step closer to establishing a breakaway league following a US-based private equity investment said to range between $750 million to $1 billion. The group behind the new venture includes former ESPN executive Scott, that is ESPN executive. ESPN is a TV channel. Executive Scott Guglielmino and Relevant Sports co-founder Charles Stilitano. You will definitely agree with me. These are very hard names to pronounce. Latin American names. And sports lawyer Lawrence McGrath and English Football League chairman Rick Parry. There have been failed attempts to realize a better league in the past, as Sao Paulo FC president Julio Caceres told Sportico. This time, the big difference is having a group of executives who come from the market with the experience. Breakaway League would replace Brazil's current top flight league, which is the Campeonato Brasileiro Serie A, which has struggled to serve the best interests of its clubs and players due to oversight by the Brazilian Football Federation, the country's top soccer authority. The federation places the majority of its focus on the Brazilian national team, the Samba Boys, you know, the Brazilian team. It forces clubs to participate in state tournaments. It's created an 11-month season with no international breaks. So Brazil has an 11th-month season with no international breaks. So this is where you're seeing the breakaway league and has now tapped into a $1 billion funding. That means chances are very high that it will definitely be inevitable, and we shall be seeing another breakaway league in Brazil. The new league would begin competition as soon as 2022, but it's likely to kick off in 2023. Its clubs will retain their broadcasting deal with Brazilian media giant TV Globo. Yes, you know TV Globo. Remember the World Cup in 2014? I remember there was a commentator. You know TV Globo, which has a deal with Brazil, which ran through 2024. I remember in 2014, during the World Cup, I was still in high school, and during that time when Germany won the World Cup, there was a commentator I remember so well. I think he was working for TV Globo, and one of the words I would say, if I am to engage, I would want to do some sports commentary in the future. And I would try to use the same words. There was a time when when a player used to score goals and you'd hear him saying, Olua. So every time you listen to that voice, you would want to go to Brazil and watch it. And he'd actually make the Olua sound very, very, very interesting whenever you listen to him saying Olua. So every time he said Olua, then you know there is a goal entering. You know, most people tend to say that Arabic commentators are the best at this, but if you ever get a chance of listening to him, you would feel, I think he's the South American version of the legendary British Peter Drury in terms of football poetry. Okay, away from that, let's also turn our heads to England. You know, with sports business, we travel overseas. Now from South America, we have taken a flight back to the United Kingdom, and this time around, we take a trip to the Three Lions as England manager Gareth Southgate signs new deal until December 2024, and that is when we shall actually be having that is when we shall be having the Euros returning. That is in 2024. So Gareth Southgate came out and made these statements after signing a new contract extension. I'm delighted that Steve Holland and I have been able to extend our stay. Steve Holland is his assistant at the English football team, to extend our stay in our respective roles. it remains an incredible privilege to lead this team. Southgate's previous deal was due to expire after the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. And Southgate's previous deal that was supposed to expire at the end of the World Cup finals in Qatar in December of next year. But the English boss and his assistant Steve Holland have now signed new contracts through to December 2024. The announcement ends the speculation surrounding Southgate's immediate future and means he'll lead England at Euro 2024 and should they qualify for the tournament in Germany. Southgate took over as England manager in 2016 following Sam Allardyce's dismissal and has since overseen a period of relative success of the national side. Southgate led England to a World Cup semi-final in 2018 in his first major tournament as a manager before securing a third-place finish in the inaugural UEFA Nations League the following summer. And Southgate then guided England to the Euro 2020 final on home soil, where they were beaten on penalties by Italy at Wembley. So remember, Southgate brought back those memories of it is coming home, where England believes the trophy is supposed to be going home. Remember, England feels football was made in England. Whenever I listen to such statements, is when you listen, it takes me back to those adverts of SuperSport where I say football made in England, football made in Africa, all those details as well. So England believes that football was made in England because they have the most expensive league in the world. They have the most watched league in the world. Almost every TV in the world wants to have broadcast rights to the English Premier League. Quite expensive, trust me, which shows you how much of an impact England is playing. But however, the English believe they do not get the international recognition they need in terms of their national team. Look at a situation with Gareth Southgate. In 2018, England finished 4th in the World Cup, having made it to the semi-finals before losing it to the runners-up Croatia. Then when they reached to the third and fourth playoffs, they lost to Belgium in Russia. But then under Gareth Southgate in the inaugural UEFA Nations League, they finished 3rd place. So which shows you that Gareth Southgate has managed to take this team to top 4 slots. And they're among the top 10 ranked teams in FIFA rankings in terms of that. So under Southgate, you can definitely see there has been a change. They had the likes of Fabio Capello. He didn't do much. They had Sam Allardyce, Big Sam. Big Sam didn't do pretty much. I think they also had, how am I forgetting, Roy Hodgson. They also had Roy Hodgson, who led them during the 2014 World Cup. It wasn't possible. Remember the 2010 World Cup? In the 2010 World Cup, they had Fabio Capello, the Italian. In 2014, they had Roy Hodgson. 2018, they had Gareth Southgate, and he's the same man who has led them to the World Cup 2022, and he's still there. Will he bring the trophy this time on? Who knows? We shall wait and see. He has a golden era. He has plenty of talent at spare for him from the goalkeeping section. He has great talent at his, because you can definitely see the English Premier League having great young English players. So I think Gareth Southgate is still having a brighter future out there. Most people probably thought he would actually give a hint of coaching in the English Premier League. I think he will try to coach in the English Premier League once he's done with his stay as England manager by 2024. Or will he get dismissed? That will also depend on how he will fare in the World Cup come December 2022 in Qatar. Let's travel to Saudi Arabia. We're traveling today from South America. We've traveled from Uganda down to South America in Brazil, in Porto Alegre. From Porto Alegre, Sao Paulo, then we had to travel back to England. Now this time around we're taking a travel down to the Middle East, and we are off to Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Olympic Committee raises $694 million for sports. The Saudi Arabian Olympic Committee raised $694 million to support the Kingdom's Sports Federation. The Saudi Minister of Sport and Committee President Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Faisal did announce this, and as part of the nation's quality of life program, the funding will focus on improving the Kingdom's sports industry before it hosts the Asian Games in 2034. The Kingdom jumped from 32 sports federations in 2015 to 91 this very year. If a federation meets certain criteria, it will be eligible to receive financial support from the committee. The capital will help create an infrastructure to support the federations. It will contribute to the nation's gross domestic product at an 0.8% increase. The funds will also aim to boost community involvement in sport to 40% by 2030. Federations may receive capital for core funding like operating and salary costs, and others will receive financial rewards for the exemplary results like winning Olympic medals. Prince Abdulaziz also announced an elite athlete development program on Wednesday to improve the athletes' performance levels and create an athlete network, which is actually targeting 180 male and female athletes in its first year and adding another 300 by 2023. The committee hopes the changes will help promote sports tourism in Saudi Arabia. Man, there is one thing I'm scared of in life. You see, when these Arabs tend to invest in sport, you feel really scared because they have the money. And in most cases, when a team has money, they start winning at the end of the day. And if they start winning, they tend to actually develop more and more with time to time. So look at the English Premier League. We have like 2 Arab owners there. We have the Saudi Arabian fund that took over Newcastle. They put in a lot of money. And what they want is that in the next 5 years, they need a trophy of the English Premier League. Look at Manchester City. When the Arabian, that is Sheikh Mansour, took over, you can even listen to the names Mansour, Sheikh Mansour. He's also attached to an oil field somewhere in Qatar. When he took over, he actually came through and they started winning trophies. Take a look at PSG. They have Sheikh Al Khaliafi. He is the owner of Bein Sports. Bein Sports, I think you've actually got to see people who are actually having how these decoders, how am I forgetting these satellite dishes that have Bein Sport. And Bein Sport, I believe, is one of the most I think it's one of the most trusted sports channels in the world because it actually features almost every detail about sport. It actually has also the CAF Champions League, the CAF Confederations Cup. You can only imagine how much it's actually earning. So at the end of the day, you can see what it means when the Saudi Arabia decide to invest into the Olympic Committee. They want to put in money to motivate the athletes. This is where I was actually asking the government of Uganda that whenever you want athletes to perform greatly, put them in a situation where you're going to put money. Motivate them, put the facilities that are needed, and you'll see the results coming up. Let's head to tennis. We have definitely traveled today, and we are heading to China, Beijing.